Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. There's another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I'm going to show you something really cool, I think. We all know the budget Unkillable team is one of the well, it's not the easiest to make, but it's the lowest requirement team to have a very competitive Ultra Nightmare squad and clan boss. All you need is a Man-Eater and a Painkeeper, and all of a sudden you have an Unkillable team. The rest of it is due to gearing and speeds of your champions to make it work. And it has a lot of damage potential, but it's never really like a super high damage type of team, right? Let's remember, this is a team that can do, you're only getting basically one attack every turn from two of your DPS champions, and then only 2 attacks every 3 turns from your stun target. So the damage potential of this team isn't like crazy high. It is definitely easy. It is definitely possible to do a 2-key with this team, though. So you only get over 35 million in your 2-key Ultra Nightmare, get the top chest. What I'm excited about today is I'm going to show you a team that can actually do a 1-key. Now, it is only for this particular affinity. It's not a 1-key for all affinities due to some of the skills that we're going to be using. But for red affinity, this team is going to be a 1-key team. It just barely meets the threshold. So it's not like crazy damage, but there's a lot of stuff I think that we can actually improve upon this to make it do even more damage for us, which is kind of exciting, I think, frankly. So I'm going to show you the champions, I'm going to show you the run, and then we're going to kind of talk about it and look at ways that, you know, maybe can make it just slightly different, slightly better, and kind of check it out in that respect. Before we get to that, I do want to shout out my Patreons just for their support. These are the people that really enable me to continue doing the work that I do, bring you the content that you love. And I want to remind you guys, if you can, go ahead, drop a sub, drop a like. About 60% of the people that watch these videos don't actually subscribe to my channel, so take that time. It really does make a difference, and I would appreciate it. That said, let's go ahead. We'll look at the champions, and then we'll look at the run. Okay, let's start here. This is the team we're going to be using. We have Vizier in here. We have Geomancer, who's just a bonkers champion. I'm really hoping I get to pull him at some point in this game. We also have Farrakhan the Fat, another champion I would really like to pull in this game. This is unusual. This is a clan boss team that I actually can't make because I don't have 2 of the 3 important champions on it. But we're going to be using all these guys here to make this team work. So let's take a look at the setup that he has going on here. Now, if you know, Geomancer has this really awesome passive ability, very similar to Underpriest Brogni, and it's kind of broken strong. But basically, every time allies take damage, he reflects some of that damage back to the attacker. That can proc Giant Slayer, and so it can make a massive, huge amount of damage for your team, as long as they have HP burn placed by Geomancer on their squad. So in order to make this work, you're going to need to use his A3 skill here that places HP burn and the weaken debuff. Very nice. And once you put that on, you want to keep it on. Now, they are 3-turn duration, so they should stay on for the entire fight. That should never really be an issue. 3-turn cooldown should be nice and easy to keep that up. But the thing you got to be careful of is somebody else replacing it. But we're going to be using that. And then you can see he actually turned off these skills. So once we get that on, we have Vizier in there to extend the debuff of it, so we don't ever have to use it again. That means we're always using damage skills. And Geomancer's damage skill is this A1, the Tremor Staff here, that's just constantly going to be hitting and doing damage. Now, it does place decrease accuracy, so we want to make sure we actually don't use this skill until we have a full debuff bar. In that time in between, we're going to be using Creeping Petrify to kind of, you know, work the damage instead. Creeping Petrify steals the buff off the target, right? You can steal that increased attack buff off of the clan boss, and that usually will do more damage for your team as a result. It's a pretty nice ability to have there. The account we're in today, it's Blitzfrag, right? We're in his account. He turned the skill off. I'm actually kind of curious, and we're going to be able to see as we set this up. Does this do more damage than the Tremor Staff skill? Because if it does, I think that's actually something we might want to activate. But he made this team, so I'm going to trust his intuition, the way he set it up. Farrakhan has his brand Shame, right? It brings HP burn and poison. So this is why it's really important we have a Vizier to make sure that HP burn stays up, and it's Geomancer's HP burn that stays up for the full fight. We're going to have decreased defense from Farrakhan. We're going to have weaken from Geomancer. And we're going to have HP burn from Geomancer and poison from Farrakhan. We should get a full debuff bar this way. And of course, we get to maintain that debuff bar by having Vizier here. In Vizier, we're basically taking out all of his skills except for his A1, so he can constantly extend those buffs. With Farrakhan's Brand of Shame, with Geomancer's Quicksand Grasp, I think you can actually run those two together with a budget unkillable team because those things get their cooldown. You don't need a Vizier to make this work. If you can time the HP burn for both of these champions so that Geomancer's is the one that's up and up the majority of the fight, you should be okay. Because his is a 3-turn cooldown, it should overwrite the one from Farrakhan, which would mean that his is always going. Or if he places his first and Farrakhan after, his has a longer duration, so it should stay up for the full fight. Let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at the champions here now. We can start with Vizier. You can see lifesteal gear. Make sure he doesn't take the stun. Not to mention all the accuracy we got on there. 176 speed. We got that crit rate. He's going to benefit from the buff from Farrakhan that's going to stay on our champions for the full fight. So that's definitely something we're going to want to have there. I think that's going to work really nicely. Good attack. We can definitely bump that higher too. I think there is, I've gotten my Vizier up to like almost 5,000 attack before, so there is definitely room to improve that. Maneater. He has no crit rate on his Maneater, but he has lots of crit damage. So we are getting that crit rate buff. I would love to see that up to 100% so you can really see that, he can consistently hit hard. That would definitely be a good thing. And we can always bump his attack higher as well. But obviously we don't want him to take the stun. That's going to be very important, so I can understand that. Painkeeper, we have Swift Parry set, random. But it works, right? It's getting us 2 speed, which we need. Still has the most HP. Good attack on her. That's nice. Good crit damage. The crit rate's going to be fine with Farrakhan there. Farrakhan the Fat, of course. And the Farrakhan the Fat, 100% crit rate. Doesn't put that buff on himself, so that's important. Crit damage. Good attack. We can always make that higher, but that's pretty good for Farrakhan. He doesn't have the highest base. And we're really relying on him for that ally attack anyway. So that's a pretty good setup, I would say. And we got the new crit rate set. That's pretty cool looking, actually. I really like this. What is this? The Bloodthirst? All right. Respect on that. So he's going to be healing up as well with that kind of lifesteal going on his kit. Also, I think that's really good. And like I said, you can see right here, he puts these on all allies except this champion, the crit rate and the crit damage. So he doesn't benefit from it. We do need him at 100% crit rate. Now, you'll notice it doesn't have a banner, which I find very interesting. We got him at the speeds we need for Ultra Nightmare, 113. Really low attack, really low defense. He has a pretty high base, so it's hard to keep him super low, but that's pretty good. Decent attack. I think we can always bump that higher. It's always dependent on gear, and he does have more HP than anybody else on the team. That's important. 100% crit rate, good crit damage. Now, I think obviously we're going to get those crit rate buffs, so we can definitely lower the crit rate on him and put those stats into something else, hopefully like attack, for example. His accuracy is way too high as well, so we can also lower that by about 50 points, and I think we would be good. Just some like little nitpicking things, but honestly, it's a pretty darn good build. We do have the crit damage there. Attack, right? We got crit rate here. This is where maybe we put crit damage gloves with a crit rate substat, and I think we would be in really good shape there. But it is hard to find all these things without speed. We have an accuracy chest piece. That's interesting. There's a lot of room for improvement on this team, which is remarkable because it's doing 1 key damage. That's just crazy to me, honestly. We have HP boots. Again, if we could find HP in the subsets and put attack there on the boots, put attack here on the chest piece, we'd just be doing more damage. If we could get an accuracy banner, which I just don't think we might have it, but he just might not have it rolled up or ready to go. Even could put an attack banner on. Obviously, speeds are an issue, so you have to accommodate that. But that's kind of crazy. There is lots of room to improve this kind of a build here. Now, as far as the masteries go, yeah, it looks like he went down the attack tree. Oh my goodness, let me move myself over here. So it looks like we went down the attack tree all the way down here to Giant Slayer, which is great. He's going to get plenty of attacks, and the Giant Slayer is really important for the reflect off of his passive ability. That's what we have to have there. This is an interesting route coming down here. Blast proof to protect from the AoEs is different. I don't know if that I'd necessarily take it, but it also limits his healing by not taking rejuvenation, so that's not bad. And then Selfless Defender, he's going to take more damage from the allies on that first hit. That'll help him get low enough to take the stun early. That's a really smart move, actually, to take that. It's a very nice build. I'm very happy with that. This is looking great. Let's check this out. Okay, guys, before we get to the run, let me show you the craziest thing about this team. We all know Geomancer. We just took a look at his kit. Here's something that I didn't show you. He's not booked fully. It's not booked fully. Doesn't have full books on the A1. Doesn't have full books on the A2. I think actually getting this one booked here will help this run a lot and do a lot more damage. And I think booking the damage here will help a lot too. We kind of want to avoid the accuracy buffs. We don't need that for him in this. It's actually just sucking up a debuff slot. But getting that damage booked is obviously a big help. So that is definitely something we could do. His A3 was booked fully, but getting those extra books in there would make a big difference damage-wise, and I think help us have a more consistent one-key team. Because one of the things we need to do is make sure that we don't add debuffs that we don't need to this squad. And so that means the decreased accuracy, the decreased attack from Maneater as well. If we can avoid having those on and having those extended by Vizier, that'll do a lot for our team and our squad. So those are the little things that we're going to want to look at and make sure we try to avoid. It's also important that we get this decreased defense here from Farrakhan to land right off the bat. Oh, that's fabulous. It makes a huge difference as to our damage. So getting that to land right away is great. Now, we did get a decreased attack there. That's fine. Vizier's not going to be able to extend that before it comes off because it's only one turn with Maneater. So that's okay to use it there. As long as we don't Painkeeper heals up enough, and we'll be in good shape. We did get the extension. That's also really important. Painkeeper can be a little bit of a pain in the butt with that sometimes, so that is important to make sure that lands. And now, because we have the HP burn from Geomancer up, we can start placing the poisons from Farrakhan. And it's just going to take us a few turns to do that. That's the manual aspect to this, which is annoying but necessary to go through. And here we want to go ahead and try and use that Siphon. That's really big because then when Vizier goes, Vizier won't extend anything. We can go ahead and use the A2 from Geomancer. We can see how much damage this does. 47,000, pretty solid. It is, I believe, more than his A1 is going to do. And we get the extensions. Yes, getting those extensions is so big. All right, here we go. We're still moving through. Excellent. And we don't want to use Farrakhan's ally attack ability until we get a full debuff bar, because there's a chance that we'll get both that decreased attack as well as Geomancer's decreased accuracy buff on there, and those are things that we don't want. We don't want to fill this debuff bar with unnecessary buffs. So those are kind of important things to kind of keep in mind as we're going through this. And go and get that decreased attack. Nope, don't need to worry about it. Get more poisons going. That is good. And then we get this HP burn and weaken. Now, his HP burn and weaken, Geomancer's all his skills, when booked, are on 3-turn cooldowns. And remember I said that he wasn't fully booked. Well, that can be a little bit of an issue, especially when we're talking about trying to get all the skills working here. The reason why is, oh God, loving the extension right there. The reason why is because he will be forced to use his A1 skill sometimes. And that's something we actually really want to avoid if possible. If we get that A1 skill up, then that means there's a chance that decreased accuracy, this one right here, will land. We really need this not to proc to maximize our damage. It didn't. That's great, because Vizier here then will go and try and extend it. And so those are the things that we want to avoid. By having that A2 on a full 3-turn cooldown with Painkeeper's cooldown ability, that would eliminate the possibility that we would just use Geomancer's A3 and A2 up until we are fully in tune. And good, we got a little bit of extension. I think that's going to be enough. We can click auto at this point and just let this bad boy run and see what we can't do here. And then here you'll see Geomancer is going to use his A1, so we kind of compare the damage before I click away and get myself off the screen. We got some more extensions. This is great. There's the A1, 26,000. Not crazy damage, right? So definitely recommend using that A2 if possible. And I think, you know, having it happen right after the stun will ensure we actually don't steal that buff, which does increase our damage. So you get the best of both worlds, basically. But here we go. Debuff bar is full. We've fully extended. We are in full auto. We're getting those ally attacks. We got the crit rate, the crit damage buff on our champions. This is a wonderful team. We actually finally got this working. We're almost 1 million a turn, and it's turn count 15. We're trying to get to 70 million. Let's see how we do. So I'll get myself off the screen, speed this up, play some music, and let's watch this pretty incredible run, guys. Are you kidding me? 70.7 million? Oh my goodness, guys. It's a one-key team. It's a one-key Ultra Nightmare team using the budget Unkillable with an unbooked Geomancer. I mean, or not fully booked Geomancer, I guess, technically, but good lord. 30 million from Geomancer, 20 from Farrakhan. A bonkers composition, guys. I mean, wow. I can't believe this works. Geomancer's so broken. Geomancer's so broken. It's insane. Wow. I mean, this is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. What an accomplishment by Blitzfrag. Just really spectacular. I do want to show you guys one thing really quickly. I was talking with him while this was running, actually, and he mentioned to me the masteries, which I hadn't thought about. But obviously, the more damage we take, the more damage that we do because of Geomancer. So he didn't take Delay of Death. Delay of Death reduces the damage we take. He didn't take it. I think that's fascinating. Fascinating, right? We didn't take the defense mastery here. I mean, you need a certain amount just to make the budget Unkillable work, but he took the resilience just so we take more defense, more damage on each hit. That's, I think, kind of brilliant, frankly. You'll notice the same thing. We took it on here on his Maneater, but you know, there's certain champions he just didn't take it on. He didn't put it here on Geomancer. You can see right here, right? Didn't take Delay of Death. It's nuts. It's nuts that he went to those extents to make sure it happened. Everything worked for him. Again, skipped it. Didn't need it, right? Just really smart, I think. Very smart as far as putting this together. Went down the support tree, which is generally what I recommend. But it's kind of crazy. Also, interestingly, didn't take this. You would do more damage with that. There's a couple little things that you could do to maximize this a little bit more. You know, I think you can take Painkeeper down the defensive tree to make this work as well. I think the support tree is easier to just make it all sync and work together. Make sure you get enough healing in there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's a crazy comp. It's a crazy composition. Obviously, getting like things like lifesteal in, upping the crit rate, crit damage are great ways to improve this. But this is a heck of an accomplishment. So major props to Blitzfrag for making it work. I honestly never thought that this team could do one key damage, which is kind of nuts to me. I'm sure there is somebody else out there that has done this because it's very rare to see something done for the first and only time. But this is the one to my knowledge. Maybe it got shared with me before and I just missed it, and so apologies. But major props to Blitzfrag for coming up with this, creating it, and then a lot of thanks for him sharing it with me too. I definitely appreciate that, and I know you guys do as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe, hit that like button. Definitely appreciate it. If any of you guys are interested in getting some coaching so that I can help you get to this kind of a level, maybe not this level, but hey, a good level with your clan boss teams, your dungeon teams, whatever it is you're working in the game, you can hit up my Patreon. I do have links in the pinned comment as well as the description of this video and every video that I do. And if you enjoyed the music, that Soundstripe link is down below for you to get it for yourselves. That's all we got today, guys. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for sticking around. Thanks for watching this. Until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.